What's going on, 5-9 Gaming Crew? Lethal One up here, joined by the Platinum Chin to take another look into Capcom's upcoming title, Resident Evil Village. Now with the showcase finally here, we got to learn more about the game, and then some. Not only is Resident Evil Village getting a release date of May 7th, with pre-order starting, well, today, but also yesterday, but it's also releasing with a multiplayer mode called Resident Evil Reverse. As part of the Resident Evil 25th anniversary, they're doing a bunch of different things here, but with that, they're also dropping 2 demos, one currently available for PS5 users, and another later in spring. Now we'll get more into all that a little bit later, but with the last bit of news that I have, the game will be released on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC, but also now on PS4 and Xbox One with free digital upgrade to PS5 and Xbox Smart Delivery. Capcom, smart move. That's what we like to see here. Now, set to release with the standard edition of the game, there's going to also be a bundle edition with Resident Evil Biohazard, a digital deluxe edition, and for the hardcore fans, a collector's edition that comes with an impressive looking Chris Redfield figure, an art book, steelbook, and just tons more. Now, with all that said, let's begin by talking about the PS5 exclusive demo that just released. To quickly summarize, the demo has the players begin in a cellar and essentially work their way up into what we believe would be the if I pronounce this wrong, correct me down below, but Dimitrescu Castle. We'll probably go Castle going forward, but
Dimitrescu.
We want to try to get that last name correct, but you get a glimpse into some of the rooms, and then you eventually, for what we perceive will be the entrance of the castle, and then you kind of make your way towards the exit, that is the courtyard. Again, just a quick summary of the overall demo. However, along the way, you do get a little taste of some little puzzles. They're pretty familiar, and a first-hand look at the new baddies of the series. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to say Lady
Dimitrescu.
And one of her daughters, because as we know, there are a total of 3. Now, the Platinum Chin, tell me, what was your experience of the castle setting and getting to meet, I hope I don't say this wrong again, but Lady
Dimitrescu.
I think that's what we're going to have to go with because I haven't seen anyone pronounce this name at all. So Lady Dimitrescu it is. My experience was interesting, all around phenomenal and fun. The demo was a great little visual teaser, graphical endeavor that they got to show us PS5 users. It had my heart racing from the very beginning. I mean, the atmosphere, with the mixture of the sounds, the details of the area you're in, ambient noise, it was crazy. It was terrifying, and it was Resident Evil. When I played it, I was like, this is what I've been waiting for, and I'm excited to see what more we get coming in the spring with the next demo, and of course on May 7th with the full release of the game.
I totally agree with you. Just a little bit from my experience too. Pretty much everything that you said I agree with. For me, I think the biggest thing was what you kind of touched on was just the amount of detail they put into this. Like this new RE engine. Oh my god! Like the castle itself is beautiful. Like the furniture, the shadows, the fire. Even the enemies that we kind of got to meet. We got to look at one of the daughters, and it scared me. It scared she was really terrifying.
It was and I mean the graphics were just phenomenal. It was beautiful, and the detail when you look at something like the railing on the staircase, the chandelier hanging in the main room, the little pieces like inspecting cups and necklaces. It's just the small minute things really brought it all together for me in that demo.
Did you even get a little quick glimpses of like some of the notes that you would find periodically throughout the demo of like kind of the backstory of like the maidens there? Did you see that?
Oh yeah, and they were creepy. I mean, Resident Evil has a total history of putting a lot of information within notes and different things you can find throughout the game. So it's nice to see that they keep with that, of course. And wow, does it make the castle residents pretty creepy?
Yeah, it got super dark when you start reading some of those notes. You're like, oh, this is what they're doing to the maidens. There's even parts where the maiden, because you play, I believe, is like the latest maiden, I think, and there's a part where like she says she recognizes the same clothing she's wearing, but in a fire pit. There's moments where you see like there's little blood things and like little buckets of blood. I think it was. There are so many different details that kind of like gives you this story, this little side story, a part of this kind of universe that I just thought was so cool, and it gets us all excited, for the actual release of this game. Now, not only did we get a demo, but we received a new gameplay and story trailer. This not only introduced us to more characters and gave us more context to the story, but it also showed us new gameplay mechanics. Resident Evil Village will continue with Ethan Winters as he travels through a village to reach the castle and search for his kidnapped daughter. The game will also continue in a first-person perspective to really get a good focus on the level of detail the game has to offer, but also continue with that, horror aspect of a first-person, what it can do. Now let's take a look at some of the characters. Again, I hope I don't mess this up, but the tall woman that we saw is now confirmed as, again, I'm just going to say Lady
Dimitrescu,
who appears alongside her 3 daughters. There's also a large merchant by the name of the Duke, and a mysterious character who we still don't know that much, besides there being some hints and some of the descriptions from Capcom saying that this character isn't fond of Ethan. So, the Platinum Chin, out of all these new characters, let me ask, is there anyone that you're just more excited for when it comes to obviously the big reveal for all of them?
Well, I think a big popular character is definitely going to be the Duke. He just seems, obviously, who didn't love the merchant from Resident Evil 4? And I think they really brought that back in full swing with a new character to give that fun, memeable vibe. You know what I'm saying? Although for me, I want to go with the mysterious Bloodborne-esque looking man with the hammer at the end who did not seem happy. The context clues make me think that is who Lady Dimitrescu was saying was Heisenberg, her brother Heisenberg. But again, we don't know for sure. But he had like this aura around him with debris floating around him. It makes me think he has some special superpowers or something. And I just, I don't know if is he going to be a main boss that chases you around? Is he going to be a one-off fight that you have to get through? I'm not sure, but I'm ready to see it when it fully comes out.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna add on because I totally agree with you, Platinum Chain. I think for me, just a little bit more, I'm excited for. I think I'm excited for the daughters, and mostly just because I could just kind of see how they're gonna, interact with you throughout your entire time in this castle. And they seem terrifying, especially the close-up they did with the latest daughter from the demo. I can't wait to see the rest of them. I'm excited to see like each of their personalities. I even wonder, like, will Ethan befriend one? Like, who knows? I mean, you'll possibly take them all out. But I think for me too, I really kind of felt like they were continuing what they did with like Biohazard, where they're introducing like another family. They're doing it again in that kind of aspect where here you are taking out this family, I'm guessing evil because we don't know too much right now, but you're going to take them all out one by one. So I don't know. I guess for me, I'm excited to see the different personalities and different characters that we get from, each of these daughters and see how it ties into the story. So that's going to be super, super exciting.
Totally.
Now, with the return of crafting and a blocking action, we are now shown that certain enemies will have their own fighting patterns to make combat more difficult. However, with the blocking mechanic, there is now the ability to kick enemies back to make space between you and them to allow for more actions. The Platinum Chin, do you think enemies are going to potentially be more stronger and smarter in this game due to these gameplay mechanics that they're showing to us?
I hope that they took that direction with the enemies because it seems they have a larger variety to the cast of enemies in this game compared to Resident Evil 7, where you had the Baker family and then those goopy biohazard monsters, which were there wasn't much to those guys. They were creepy. They gave me I was very uncomfortable playing that game, but there wasn't much they had to do with mechanics and stuff in that game that really differentiated them between each other. So I hope to see that there definitely is some what's the word? Some
So for me personally, I think this is awesome. And more so because, not that the last game was like, everybody was kind of the same, even though there's still some differences and whatnot. Boss fights were obviously a little bit different, but I think it's cool to think that like even the smaller enemies will have their own style of how they're gonna, attack the player or how they're gonna try to come at you. Because even you've seen in the trailer, they brought in red barrel bombs that you can kind of explode to. So it seems like they're going a little bit more complex with this one, and it's cool to see that Ethan is also going to have finally some like kickback. Man, I want to see this guy start pushing back enemies and like doing different things. And there was even a hint in the demo trailer, in the gameplay trailer, that you saw that like when you took down one of the enemies in the cellar, they had a weapon, and it looked like there was an arrow towards the weapon. So it had me thinking like, man, how cool would that be if they're going to allow Ethan to now actually pick up one of the weapons and use it too? They also showed that Ethan brought back a knife, I think. So there's some cool things that they're doing here, and I'm excited to kind of see how enemies are going to be. And, if they're promising that like, hey, enemies are going to be smarter, they're going to be a little bit more different in how they approach you, it's going to make it way more complex when it comes to, fighting these enemies.
Yeah, totally. And I think what I was trying to get at was that I want to be able to see the enemies kind of learn your patterns a bit. Now, I don't expect it too much to happen, but while you're fighting them, say maybe the battle takes a little too long, and you can expect maybe the enemy will know that you're going to block at this point, and they'll maybe fake you out or something a little tricky with the AI from the enemies, considering they have so many different characters that they want to show off to be able to fight. I mean, I saw werewolves, I saw a real big old man with a hammer, so many different things. So it's it'll be interesting to see what those enemies have to offer in terms of combat.
Now, let's conclude with talking about Resident Evil Reverse. Reverse details were kind of scarce, but it appears to be an online multiplayer game that will have fan favorite characters clashing in what looks like some sort of deathmatch style game. Now, more details are being promised to come at launch, closer to launch, but this game will be free when you purchase it with Resident Evil Village. Now, the Platinum Chin. In comparison to past Resident Evil online multiplayer experiences, I'm sure you saw this teaser, so is this something you would be interested in? Because I looked at it, and real quick, I looked at it, and I noticed it's a different art style. I also noticed that it kind of seems like similar to, I think, the last online game that they kind of did. I forget it was called Outbreak. I don't remember the specific name. But I think I had played one online game that I really enjoyed, and it was like an older one, and it was for the DS. It was Resident Evil: The Mercenaries, and I just enjoyed it because what they did was they always bring back some of your favorite characters, and you kind of get to play with them. And this one, I took the fact that it felt like it was I don't know. It looks like it can have a mixture of maybe some co-op, but it looks like it does have that deathmatch, and maybe each will have their own unique style and how they play, their own abilities. But go ahead, give me your take, man. What do you think?
Yeah, Mercenaries was definitely my favorite mode, multiplayer mode that they've had in Resident Evil, and I honestly don't think any other multiplayer experience they've had has really lived up to that kind of fun, exciting, and goofy feel of Mercenaries, and be able to be someone like Wesker and just bash through a bunch of zombies, or be Chris and kick them down, and being all your favorite characters. Now, this looks cool. I do like the comic book style effect on it. I think that's an interesting choice, but I'm kind of here for that. But overall, to me, I feel like it's going to be something like the multiplayer experience that came out with Resident Evil 3, which the name escapes me because it wasn't that compelling either. It seems more so like a gimmick to me. Doesn't seem like something that too many people are going to be real excited for or enjoy when it comes out. But I think I'll play a few matches and definitely give it a go.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's how I'm looking at it too. I think the last, like I mentioned that one game is because that was the last big online multiplayer experience that I had with Resident Evil that I think I really enjoyed. So, if they possibly were to bring something like that back, I think I would definitely be more into it. But I know, like you mentioned, the last one, which, again, name escapes both of us at this point, didn't really capture me that much. So, who knows? We'll see what this is going to do when the game actually launches. So it's exciting to look forward to. Everybody likes a good multiplayer experience to come with their games. But yeah, that's pretty much it, everyone. Give us your thoughts down below, and make sure to let us know if you will be getting Resident Evil Village. Be sure to stay tuned with us by subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, as we will be updating you with the new information that we see. I'm Lethal One Up, joined by the Platinum Chin, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.